Welcome to the Power and Purpose podcast. I am Vanessa Stoll, your host. Thank you for joining me here today. Trust is a very interesting concept, and many times we are placing an expectation on people like, can I trust you? Will you show me that I can trust you? Can I trust this person? We are constantly placing our trust outside of ourselves onto other people, onto other experiences. I trust that person. I trust that company. I trust that job. I trust that president, whatever it might be, right? That's kind of like the norm of where we have as a society where we place our trust. This is an invitation to reverse that, turn the trust inward. The question becomes so much more magical and valuable when we ask ourselves, can I trust myself? Can I trust myself? Right? That's a whole different question because at that point, you don't have to be concerned about what the other person is doing or what they will do or what they're capable of doing or what they're not capable of doing. It's, can I trust myself when the relationship unfolds with the boss, with the coworker, with the business partner, with my husband, with my wife? When that relationship unfolds and I start to see who they are in action in the present moment. There's situations that come up, there's difficult conversations, there's awkward moments where something didn't feel right. Can I trust myself? Can I trust myself to notice the disconnect, to notice the misalignment? Or will I gaslight myself? Or will I ignore it? Or will I bypass it? Like, be honest, you know? If you're like, hey, I'm in this phase of my life where I'm still disassociating from things, just be aware of where you're at, right? And because then you can start to shift it. You could be more present in your relationships or in situations where when your presence provides so much personal power in the moment. Because when you notice a conversation is going in a different direction or something unexpected is happening in a relationship, ask yourself, can I trust myself to do what's best for me, to self preserve, to do what's going to give me the highest quality of life, to do what's going to emotionally nurture me? What's Can I trust myself to do what's physically and mentally going to nourish my soul? That's a whole different question because ultimately you are responsible for how you respond. And I know this so well because, for years I was in a very stressful relationship where I kept acting like things were going to get better. I was in denial. I didn't want to admit how crazy and how destructive our experiences together, that my boyfriend and I, how destructive those experiences were to my nervous system. I didn't want to acknowledge it, right? So I stayed. I kept, and I had this denial that allowed me to be, I don't like using the word toxic positivity, but it allowed me to create like this illusion of optimism that was built on something very unstable. And so I know what it's like to externalize our trust or to externalize um, the result of our situations. But really, what I learned from that experience coming out of that relationship, I think that relationship ended for me in like 2018, early 2019. And it took me a long time to recover from it. Energetically, I went celibate like for 2 years after that because I just really felt like I needed to get back into my own energy. And also, what I was doing was during that celibacy, and I didn't plan for it, by the way. I think I planned to go celibate for like a month, and it turned into 2 years, which was amazing. But what I learned during that period was that trust is up to me. It's that ball is in my court. And I had gave my trust away because I didn't validate my feelings when things in that relationship felt disconnected, when they felt violent, when they felt unfair, when they felt manipulative, all of those things. I didn't validate myself. I didn't pause and breathe and ask myself, what do I need to do next? What's my next step in order to protect my health or my mind or my heart or my energy? Okay, so I wanted to bring this to today's conversation so you can ask yourself, do you trust yourself? And that can mean, do you trust yourself to follow through? If you're working with a coach, if you're going to sign up for a coaching program, it's not, can I trust the coach? It's, can I trust myself to follow through, to show up, to receive the coaching? If I have resistance in that coaching session, can I trust myself to sit with it and move through it and navigate through it instead of ignoring it or doing something else? And on another note, another example is, people are like, can I trust that person not to cheat on me? Can I trust them to be faithful? Can I trust them to be loyal, in a romantic relationship? Can you trust yourself to be present and to notice when things instinctually feel off? When there's distance being created in the relationship, when the person is showing you their true colors, can you trust yourself to pause and to listen to your intuition in those moments? Because if you can train yourself to trust yourself, if you can trust yourself during those times, you're going to catch on to what that person is up to, probably before it happens, right? And then you might make a different decision. You might put that relationship on pause. You might exit that relationship. You might confront the person, or you might ask them, hey, I'm feeling really disconnected in our intimate time together. I feel like, maybe I have a block up, maybe you have a block up. Like, can we talk about this? You could always catch it. You could respond to things not in a reactive way, but in a way that brings so much awareness to that particular relationship in the setting of a romantic relationship. And with a business partnership, let's dive into this example. A lot of times people are like, can I trust this business partner, to not overspend, to not run the business into the ground, to not like agree to other things or other deals that may not be in alignment with the company? Well, can you trust yourself to ask the right questions to that business partner? Can you trust yourself to communicate with them clearly so that are you guys on the same page? Did you overturn every stone? Did you really talk about the deeper stuff and the needs and the wants of your company or your project or whatever it is that you guys are working on together? Hmm. Take a breath. So, hopefully, you're inspired by this conversation to really explore self trust. And we're never truly going to trust anyone else because there's almost no such thing. You're only responsible for you. That person that you're in a relationship with, or your business partner, or your coach, or your sister, or your cousin, or whoever it is, they're not responsible to live up to your expectations. They're not here to make you happy. You're responsible for your own happiness. You're responsible for your own success. Now, they're responsible for their desires, their success, their happiness, their satisfaction, their communication. But when everybody takes responsibility, shows up, right? Taking responsibility for everything that they have going on internally, everything that they want, everything that they desire, taking responsibility when things feel off or disconnected, we're talking about it. We're writing it out in the email, send it to the person so that a conversation can follow. Send them that text. You don't know how they're going to receive it, but that's not your responsibility. As long as you are in alignment and you're communicating responsibly, meaning you're not putting anyone down, you're not cussing at them, you're not, you know, emotionally or verbally abusing anyone. As long as you're being responsible with how you communicate, you are not responsible for how they receive the message. You're not responsible for their emotions. So do what you got to do. Do what you got to do to really be completely present in all of your relationships, because that's what's required. And so back to this concept of trusting people, it's not about can you trust. I mean, there's a certain level, right? Like you want to feel safe with people. You wouldn't want to go on a date with someone if they're like drinking and driving, right? You would, that's just probably your boundary, your standard. You're like, absolutely no. So we're talking about people who are, they've already they've already, you know, there's already that basic level of trust. You know that they're not going to do anything erratic or unpredictable. It's a reasonable person that we're talking about here. But it comes down to self-trust. Can I trust myself to feel in deeper here, to see what's really happening in this relationship, to unpack my feelings, to journal? How do I feel about that date? How do I feel about this business partner? How do I feel about this coaching program I'm in? Am I just, putting everything externally and hoping that the healing program, the coaching program, the plant medicine will do all the work for me, or am I taking responsibility? So I hope this is inspiring. I hope it brings awareness to the relationship with yourself and the relationship with other people. Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. Namaste.